Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Genuine Apbt. On today's episode, I simply want to discuss what this dog kennel is built like, what it's built from, why I built it like this, and what I think of it in my experience. It was actually one of the subscribers that asked me this, so I appreciate that because it gave me thought for content. Today's biblical reading is in 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him." Okay, so here we go. You can obviously tell that the construction of the dog kennel is primarily made out of wood. It does have some base anchors down there, galvanized steel, to keep the wood off of the ground. And then it's got some corner supports in the door. There you go. Just to add rigidity to the doors. What else? The roof is actually pitched really well. And it's like if you would have done a roof on an approved patio, from everything, from the roofing paper to the actual roofing paper up top. I'll let you see it up there. So it's done really nice. The wire that I used, I didn't use pig wire or hog wire. I actually used something called horse red top wire for no particular reason. They just didn't have any where I was. They didn't have the pig wire. I would have used that, but this is plenty. If your dog, or if my dogs, I should speak just personally, if my dog is the kind of dog that's going to chew through this, I'm not keeping that dog. And I'll tell you why. I count it as maybe missing some intelligence. A dog should know if he's chewing through metal, I don't want the dog. I have no use for a dog like that. I need a dog that's more intelligent than that. So I put this up and they never touch the metal. Okay, so that's a qualification that I have. If my dog's chewing a chain or something made out of metal, he's out. He's not going to be bred. He's going to be cold. He's going to be fixed. I need more intelligence than that. He should know better than that. Okay, as you can see, some of the stuff is 1x1. Some of the stuff is 4x4, obviously, and then some 2x4s and some 5/8 plywood, double-sided plywood. So we have it out here, okay? And as you can see the way it's framed, you have some plywood out here on the inside the 1x1s, and then you have another wall of plywood on the interior also, and it's really nice, fully covering the dogs from the elements. Double-sided plywood. Just going a little crazy right now. Double-sided plywood this way too, so you've got plywood on one kennel and then you got plywood on the other side. They're not sharing the same plywood. They're not sharing the same frame. I didn't want to do that. The size of the kennel, I'm not gonna let you know what size, only because I encourage you to look up the required size of the kennel or the minimum square footage that your county or animal control laws express. So I don't want to influence you. I know that here, this is plenty good for the research that I did. Another question is, do the dogs lay on the cement? No, it's cement because I wanted the runoff to work really well when it's running off into, when I'm cleaning it and it's running off into the sewer, which is right there. So I got good runoff coming this way underneath them and then to that sewer line. But no, I have a horse mat that's in this kennel and on the adjacent kennel, and that keeps the dogs from developing calluses and just resting better. And I simply water them down. I clean up the feces and then I water them down, and then once a week I take the dogs out, I take the houses out, and I do the ammonia treatment and then let that dry, then rinse it off. Then I do the bleach treatment, let that dry, rinse it off, and there's no issues with the smell or anything like that. Maybe once every 2 weeks I will do the I think it was the Simple Green Animal Outdoor Odor. There's another video that I have with some chemicals on the thumbnail. Look that up. if you want to see where to purchase that. And obviously, if you let the animals lie or rest on the ammonia or the bleach before it's dried or rinsed off, yeah, I mean, that's just common sense. It will affect them. Any chemical that you use, even soap, you don't want it resting on the dog and drying on the dog. So that's pretty obvious there. Now, I didn't make the kennels out of wood for any other reason but because I wanted them to look aesthetically nice. I didn't want to just go get something off the shelf at like a Home Depot or even order it from a canine supply place. I just wanted them to look really good and to just, you know, be nice custom kennels. Now, having said that, I'm really, really satisfied with the way they look and the way they work. But I will tell you this, if I was going to do it again, I would not make them out of wood. I would actually build them in the same spot, but I would make them with 2 feet where you see the drywall. I mean, the plywood there, that's 2 feet high. I would make that out of block, just cinder block. And I would still have the 2-inch gap here on the bottom so you can get some ventilation. And then it comes down with it's about a 2.5 inch, 3 inch on this side. But I would make it out of block with just nice heavy gauge, 9 gauge fencing all the way around with a really nice roof made out of wood, just like this. But the reason I would make it out of block, it would still look good. It would look a little more industrial. And the reason, I meant to say 9 gauge chain link. You can buy that here. It's really, really good. If you get 7 gauge, it's basically for a leopard or a tiger or a lion. You don't need that. Even 9 is over the top. I have a fence in the back that's made out of 9. And let me tell you why I would make it out of block and not out of wood. Look at this. Look at what Zephyr did. He chewed through the first 1x1, and then he almost got through the second 1x1. It's supposed to look like that, and he made it look like this. I don't blame him. He did that when Maple was in heat, and so he's going crazy. He's trying to get over to the other side, and he did that in a couple hours. So he was on his way to the other side. That's my fault. That is not his fault. That is the only reason that I would make them out of block. They would just be unchewable. See, there you go there. So what I'm gonna do here, there's an easy fix. I replaced the 1x1s, and then I put metal edging all the way around, which is pretty cheap. You get it made out of 1/8, and it's galvanized, and it's already done really nice. You just measure it all up, and they pre-cut it for you about 2 miles away from where I live. That's not an issue. I'm gonna do that. But here, I would not say that the dog is not intelligent. The dog is going to bite things that he can bite, and he feels his cutters or his canines going in to the wood, and so it's pretty normal for dogs to chew wood. I don't think it's normal for dogs to chew metal again. So that's really it. I mean, in order for the dogs not to get callous, you want to go out and get a horse mat, and that's really it. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about these kennels, but they look nice. They work well. They insulate the dogs perfectly here in Southern California. I don't need more. There's plenty there with their barrel houses and the way they're made here. Oh, and I did treat, I treated the wood, even though it's pressurized wood, and it's all redwood and pressurized treated wood, which means it's kind of waterproof. But then I went the extra mile and treated every inch of it with the stuff I'm going to show you right now. This is what I treated the entire kennel with. It's called Vermont Natural Coatings Exterior Penetrating Wood Stain. The reason I did it with this, it's not cheap. It's about 60 bucks a gallon, but to me, it's absolutely worth it because of this. It creates a non-toxic waterproof barrier, but it also protects it from UV rays, mold, and mildew, and that's really what's going to mess up your wood in kennels or anything made out of wood. It's the sun. The sun does more damage than the wood. I mean, than the water. But yeah, this is it. I wanted to protect them, and I'm glad I did, because this guy ended up biting it. And of course, taking in some of the pieces. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want them taking in anything toxic. And most of the things that you're going to get off the shelf at Home Depot or any other big store like that, they're not going to be non-toxic, because really, I mean, who's going to need that? Most people aren't making kennels out of wood, but I did. And so there's a stain. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And like always, know them, love them, and raise them responsibly.